Welcome to Friday's TimesCast. The trapped Chilean miners are still days away from freedom, at the least. But will they be ready for the world's welcome when they emerge?
Dozens of motorhomes have taken residence here for media crews, and more parking lots are being cleared in the dirt.
The U.S. economy lost 95,000 jobs in September, worse than expected. What will it take to get them back? The first all-electric car aimed at a mainstream market hits dealerships in December. We answer your questions about the Nissan Leaf.
This is Alexi Barrio Nuevo reporting for the New York Times from the San Jose mine in the Atacama Desert in Chile, where 33 men have been trapped more than 2,000 feet underground since August 5th. Authorities here say they expect to break through to the miners by Saturday and then pull them to the surface a few days later. The anticipation is growing, with hundreds of media members from more than a dozen countries arriving this week. The Chilean government is preparing for the country's moment in the international spotlight. Yesterday, a banner with pictures of all the miners was placed at an entrance. Dozens of motorhomes have taken residence here for media crews, and more parking lots are being cleared in the dirt. And the miners are receiving training in how to express themselves clearly and respond to reporters' most probing questions. When the miners get out, they will be greeted by some family members and then be whisked away by helicopter to a nearby hospital for medical attention. Likely only a select few will speak to the media horde in the first few hours, but they will all receive Oakley wraparound sunglasses to protect their eyes from the sun after more than 60 days without sunlight. For the New York Times, this is Alexi Barrio Nuevo.
In September, the jobless rate remained at 9.6%, but the economy lost another 95,000 jobs.
So it seems like we're stuck in this sort of grim new normal. We thought we had been seeing a bit of recovery at the beginning of the year, and that seems to have flatlined. Why are we kind of grinding our gears here?
We have too much of everything. We have too much and too little of everything. We have too many houses. We have too few jobs, too little money. Businesses don't want to start spending. Consumers don't have the money to spend. It's a real grim problem right now.
And our policy options seem somewhat limited. Politically, there's a bit of a partisan rancor going on in Washington, so it seems unlikely that we're going to have another huge fiscal stimulus plan. What are the options left for us?
Look, the Federal Reserve is talking about trying to bring down long-term interest rates even more. That strikes some as rather dubious because there's really no evidence that interest rates are the problem.
Right, they're already low.
Exactly, businesses are afraid to spend. It would seem at this point that a large stimulus program to get lots of people back to work on infrastructure would be in the cards, but if you look at Washington, it's certainly hard to make that argument.
So at this point, even though we're technically in recovery, it feels like we're going to feel like we're in recession for a long time to come.
Right.
The Leaf is the first all-electric car available to consumers at what Nissan thinks is a competitive price. Automobiles editor Jim Cobb answers questions.
Chris from Los Angeles asks, did I miss this? How much is this car? Chris, you can be forgiven if you missed it. There's a lot of confusion out there about all the electrics and plug-in hybrids and regular hybrids and other new technologies. The Nissan Leaf is going on sale within the next few weeks. The cost is right around $33,000, although as Bill Vlasic pointed out in his Page One story today, there are a lot of tax credits available that can really knock that price down by several $1,000s. It's different from a lot of the electric cars that have come before in that it's going to be available on a wide scale, and it's a thoroughly conventional compact. It has 4 doors. It will seat theoretically 5 people if 2 or 3 of them are small. While it's not cheap at $33,000, it's certainly more accessible than, say, the Tesla Roadster, which is a 2-seat sports car that costs well over $100,000. Rob in Monterey, California asks, I've always wondered how much it costs to fully charge a vehicle. Does anyone know the approximate cost? Nissan says that the Leaf can be fully charged at home for less than $3, assuming an electricity cost of about 11 cents a kilowatt hour, which is what I'm paying in New Jersey right now. You can program the car to charge at night, of course, when you can get off-peak rates, so the cost could conceivably be lower. You would need to have a charger installed at home, of course. That can add perhaps $2,000 to the cost of the car. The issue is a little more unsettled away from home. chargers are very slowly starting to appear in some parking garages, like in New York. I suspect before long we'll be seeing them at big box stores and chain restaurants in the suburbs. But the infrastructure is not quite there, but it's moving along pretty rapidly now.
Join us again Monday for another TimesCast.